Bada boom. Alright. Should be cool. This Facebook camera is really weird. Alright. Let's get away from Mandeep. Alright. We got some stuff to talk about today. We got James Harden declining his what was that? It was $50 million a year. It was $50 million a year, and he declined it. He apparently is more focused on a Brooklyn Nets trade. That's what we're gonna get into. CP3 go to the Phoenix Suns. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. We got the news as we were doing the podcast, I'm pretty sure. So we're gonna talk about that more today. We got injuries to Drew Brees. We got my top 5 list, my top 5 NFL teams after Week 10. I've done it every week since the football season started. And what else we got today? We got a lot of football. We got a lot of basketball. It's between those two today. Lots of stuff to talk about in the NBA. Lots of stuff to talk about in football. So just sit back and away from Mandeep, and we're going to get started as soon as he gets in here. He told me he's going to be on time today. I literally just messaged him before we started, like 5 minutes before 4 o'clock. I messaged him, and he said he'll be here on time. So we're waiting for him, and then we're going to get started. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Yes, I do know I was wrong about the Bears game last night. We're getting into that as well. I know Mandeep's going to brag. I don't really care about being wrong about that game, but it's okay. He was right that the Vikings won. I didn't see that the Vikings would win. I didn't think Nick Foles was going to go down injured. That's something we're going to be talking about. So, yeah, we're waiting for Mandeep here. I'm not sure what he's doing. Just waiting for him to get in here. If someone in my Instagram live knows Mandeep and has his Instagram, message him, tell him to hurry up so we can get into this podcast as soon as possible. I would think he would be here before me since he was right about the Bears vs Vikings last night, but he's not. He said he was ready. Well, he said give me a second. It's been about almost 10 minutes. Alright, we gotta do. Alright, we're just waiting for Mandeep. Podcast. Capitalize it. There we go. There he is. Jeez. Alright. Wait till he requests to join. We are going. Josh, get that new setup. Yeah, I'm in a different I'm in a different room today. You know, the place I was in didn't have that good of lighting, and I'm right next to a window too. It's an easier setup here too. So I might be doing my podcasts in here. And yeah. What do you guys think of the new setup though? You like it better, or did you like the previous one better? What's up?
What up?
What's going? We got a lot of stuff to talk about. You said you're gonna be here exactly 4 o'clock.
Huh?
You said you were gonna be here exactly 4 o'clock.
Okay, I'm 5 minutes late, okay?
Yeah. I'm joking. So we got quite a bit of stuff. We got a lot of football, a lot of basketball, especially. I know some people are gonna be wanted to hear us talk about that. So we're gonna get straight to it. We didn't get too much into it yesterday because I think this news happened as we were doing the podcast, so we didn't get into it as much. But CP3 getting traded to the Suns. So my question is, do you want me to go first with this one? I'll go first with this one. Should top teams in the West be worried about the Suns?
Um, for now, I would think so. Right now, they said it because, CP3 and the Suns, they're not a title contender, but they are a playoff. They're a playoff team.
Yeah.
And the Suns, they have young stars. Now you have a veteran point guard, Chris Paul. He ain't getting younger. He's like 36 right now, but he's the Suns will be a title contender in the coming years. But for now, top teams like the Lakers, Warriors, they shouldn't be worried about the Suns for now.
Yeah, top teams they shouldn't be very worried. The Suns are going to make the playoffs. They have a good team. They have a good young team. They have obviously Devin Booker. They added a veteran in CP3. They have DeAndre Ayton, especially, who's an underrated center. I know he got in trouble early in the season for I forgot what it was, but yeah, the Suns are definitely going to be a threat. They're definitely going to make the playoffs. They went 8-0 in the bubble. They didn't make the playoffs, but this year I believe they will. I don't think they're going to be a threat to top teams in the West because you're talking about the Lakers, the defending champs. You're talking about the Clippers. You're talking about the Warriors. You're talking about the Nuggets, the Mavericks. Those teams I'd put ahead of the Phoenix Suns right now. I just don't see them being a big threat to them. Like I said, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think I mentioned it yesterday too. They're going to be a lower seed, I feel. Maybe in the fourth or fifth seed. Maybe. But those teams that I just mentioned, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Warriors, the Mavericks, the Nuggets. I think I'll put those teams ahead of the Phoenix Suns right now because just how good those teams were last season, how better I think they're going to get. So Monty Williams is a great coach too. So, but the I just don't see the Suns being a threat to top teams in the West just because of how their team is young. Like you said, in the future they will. Obviously, CP3 is not going to be there very long either. But I can definitely see him playing into his 40s, like how Vince Carter did. But he's not going to be that much of a threat offensively as he gets older. And like you said, he's like what 35 now, 36. So like he's not getting younger; he's getting older by the day. So they're gonna make the playoffs. They're gonna they could make the second round. They could, especially if they're the fourth or fifth seed and that's a playoff matchup in the first round. I could definitely see them making the second round at least. But that's all I see right now. The Suns making the second round.
But do you think that the other teams could have gone for CP3?
Oh yeah, for sure. Other teams could have gone for CP3. I think a place like the Clippers would have been a great place for him. Pairing him up with Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, those guys. I think that would have.
So you think the Clippers would get back to get CP3 back on the Clippers again?
Yeah, I think it would have worked out on the Clippers. And also, you mentioned this team too, the Milwaukee Bucks. That would have been an underrated team, pairing him up with Giannis, those guys. And yeah, I think a lot of other teams could have picked him up. The Lakers could have, but then you're taking the ball out of LeBron's hands, and I just didn't see that working out. I didn't see what they could give up for CP3. So maybe not the Lakers, but a lot of other teams. Wherever you add Chris Paul, you're at an advantage now. Your team,
Well,
you're adding plus to your team.
that his contract is too expensive.
Right.
That's why some teams are not. That's why some teams are not going for him because of his contract.
Yeah. Yeah, and they could also be not going for him because some teams want to look to the future, maybe not right now. Right now, like the Suns, because the Suns they want to make the playoffs, and a player like Devin Booker, I'd like to see him make the playoffs just because of how hard he's been working. So adding CP3 was a great addition. Second round is the max I see them going, and he left. Um, man, I was getting my momentum there, man.
I don't know, just let me know.
That's all right. But yeah, like I said, second round is the max I see them going. And yeah, other teams could have picked CP3 up, but I like CP3 on the Suns. I like it. It's gonna definitely get Devin Booker that playoff experience
That is a good backcourt, you know. Devin Booker paired up with
for sure,
Devin Booker paired up to a veteran.
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Those two, especially Devin Booker, he needs a veteran like CP3. And we saw what happened in OKC when they were paired up with a veteran and Chris Paul. So they made the playoffs when they had a point 0.4 percentage chance of making the playoffs. So pairing him up with those young
Yeah.
guys, that's a great it's a
So
great
if
partnership.
Chris Paul can lead the OKC to the 50, why can't he lead the Suns?
Exactly, exactly.
You know,
So that's what I see
you have
happening.
a
I
great,
think,
you
yeah,
have a great future player, Devin Booker, who's probably gonna be like one of the best scoring player of all time. You know, scored 71 points in his third season. That's hard to do. And he's just great, man. Over that game winner he had over the Clippers, that was great. He has, he's a young talent.
yeah, for sure. So, but in terms of the Suns being a threat to top teams in the West, I don't see it. I don't see it. In the future, like you said, maybe, but right now, I don't see it. Like maybe people, I heard people saying they can make the Western Conference Finals. I don't see that right now. I don't see that at all right now because there's
Well,
too many good teams right now in the West.
uh,
Even a team like Portland right now too. Portland, I think, is going to be a good competitor with the Suns, but other than that, I think it's I don't see them being a threat to those guys.
the second question. Let's go to a different question. Do you think that the Bucks gave up too much for what's his name?
Drew Holiday and Bogdanovich.
Hol-
Do you want me to go first?
yeah, you go first.
All right, I'd say so right now. I don't see this team winning a chip, and I think that's what it's gonna take for Giannis to stay in Milwaukee. So Drew Holiday, he's an elite point guard, great defender. Bogdanovich is a good all-around player, but in terms of winning a championship, I don't see that happening with this team. Drew Holiday, what the Bucks needed, they needed people that are gonna show up in the playoffs, and that's Drew Holiday. Bogdanovich is a great player, even though we didn't see him in the playoffs last year. But we know he's a great player. Drew Holiday, like I said, he shows up in the playoffs, and he's not a very reliable 3-point shooter in the regular season. But in the playoffs, when you want a 3-point shot, you're like, okay, I like that guy taking that shot. So I think it's a good trade. But right now, I say they did give up too much because you also gave up a guy in DiVincenzo who I think had a bright future. You gave up Eric Bledsoe, I can see why you gave him up because he was a good point guard, but I didn't see them going far with the Bucks yet anyway. I saw him leaving anyway in the future. So I like this team. I like this team. It's definitely a dangerous team,
Now,
dangerous starting lineup in the East. So yeah, I would say they gave it too much, and I don't see them winning a chip, and I think that's what it's going to take for Giannis to stay.
I have a question. If James Harden does go to the Nets, do you think that the Bucks could stop the Nets from going to the finals?
No, I don't think so because you're going up against three amazing scorers. And like I said, I don't like if the season were to start today, I don't see this team winning a championship. I just don't see it because you have Brooklyn, who's gonna give you bucket, especially if James Harden goes to the Nets. So
Well,
even
here's the
without
thing.
James Harden,
So,
even
like,
without James Harden, I don't see this team beating Brooklyn. Even though they're a great starting lineup, this Bucks team, but against Brooklyn, against Kyrie and Kevin Durant,
well,
who's better at
here's the
80%,
thing.
I don't see it.
You know, you know, I I'm gonna disagree with you because you know, Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant, they're all on one team. You know, shots, find way to score, but also also they all want the ball at the same time and in the clutch because Kyrie is the point guard. We've seen him many times when he got drafted by Cleveland. He was their main first player, go-to player in the clutch.
Right.
Same with the Rockets. When the Rockets needed a scorer, a point, they would give it James Harden. And same with Kevin Durant. They all have the same common things that they all want the ball at the same time. They want to be the best player on their team, and they want the ball in their hands. That's why people thought that Russell Westbrook and James Harden that was gonna work out, but we see it didn't because James Harden and Russell Westbrook they both want the ball at the same time. They both want at the end of each game. They want to be the man of the game. That's why I don't think that the Nets will go to the finals. If James Harden does, I feel like the Bucks you have better chemistry. Kyrie's not the greatest with chemistry. We all seen in past years in the locker rooms, and you also have because the Bucks they're a younger team. You have Giannis who's young. He can guard up Kevin Durant. They have Drew Holiday who can guard up. He's a great two-way player. He's good at shooting. He's a great finisher. He has really great defense. That's a great pickup. Better than George Hill because George Hill's getting old. He doesn't have good defense because he's not really good. But you have Drew Holiday who can lock up Kyrie. But then you also have Chris Middleton, a great shooter. If you find him open, he'll make the shot. Same with Finch. He can also shoot. And then you have Brook Lopez, a player that he developed his jump shot into a 3-and-D player. He can shoot threes now, and he can drive and crash rebounds. So I feel like the Bucks could beat the Nets from going to the finals.
I don't see that happening just because you brought up great points. Kyrie, not being a great teammate in a locker room, but I think he's learned from the Boston Celtics when he thought he could lead his own team to the finals. He didn't want to be under LeBron's shadow in Cleveland. That's why he went to Boston, and he thought he could lead his own team. That didn't work out, and I think everybody learns from their mistakes. And Kyrie, he's a very humble guy. I've never gotten the chance to talk to him, unfortunately, in person, obviously, but he seems like a very humble guy, and I think he's a guy that learns from his mistakes. Him and Kevin Durant are great friends, and so is James Harden and Kevin Durant. So I think they would get along equally. I think Kyrie and James Harden both know Kevin Durant is the superior player when it comes to that time. And I think even Kevin Durant, when it comes to that time, he'll be like, okay, maybe it's James Harden's turn. Okay, maybe it's Kyrie Irving's turn. So I can definitely see Kyrie Irving learning from his mistakes that he made in Boston, because he found out that he can't lead a team himself. So I think that it would actually work out in Brooklyn because learns from his mistakes. And bring up on topic of great points. I want to bring up Russell Westbrook and James Harden real quick. Just because they didn't want to play together does not mean they're great friends. I heard from a very reliable source that they are still great friends. They just, when it comes to the basketball court, they can't cooperate together because, like you said, they both want the ball in their hands.
But basketball's been business. They want to each win their own separate things.
They're still great friends. So I just wanted to clear the air on that. But back to Brooklyn and Milwaukee. Right now, yes, Drew Holiday is a great defender, and come playoff time, you want him taking any open shot he gets. But Drew Holiday is a good defender, but he's not going to be able to hold Kyrie that well. Because Kyrie, he's too quick. He's too quick off the dribble. He's too quick at finishing at the rim. Kevin Durant, maybe you could make an argument that Giannis is going to stop Kevin Durant. And then you have DeAndre Jordan. You have James Harden. Not a lot of people in the league can stop James Harden. Those are three guys you're going to have to lock up. And I don't see a lot of guys on the Milwaukee Bucks that are going to be able to stop those guys.
I found out that James Harden, the two teams that he really wants to go is the Nets or Philly. And also remember that the Rockets, they need great players for their franchise because I think they're in rebuild mode because they just traded Robert Covington for Trevor Ariza to Portland. Then you have Russell Westbrook wanting to trade. Then you have James Harden. You have two of your best superstars wanted out of Houston, and their best players your best player right now is Eric Gordon. So I think they're in rebuilding mode.
For
So
sure.
they're gonna probably ask for first round picks, future pick swaps, some young players, and I think the best package that the Houston Rockets can get is from the not from the Philadelphia 76ers. They can get Ben Simmons or Harden, and they can put people, young players around them. But right now, the Rockets, they want to get the best trade for the franchise because they don't care about the Brooklyn Nets franchise or Philadelphia franchise. They worry about their own franchise because they're a contender this year now. Now that James Harden and Russell Westbrook demanded a trade, their team is going downhill. And I believe that they need to focus on getting the best trade value, and that will probably be the Philadelphia 76ers because they're probably going to trade Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid, probably Ben Simmons and some other players and a couple first round picks. And the Philadelphia 76ers will probably say yes to that. The Houston Rockets will probably say yes to that.
Well, yeah, you bring up a great point, but like we're talking about if James Harden goes to the Nets, but in terms of like trade packages, yeah, I would say maybe Philadelphia has the better trade package for Houston. But what you mentioned this yesterday, Houston needs a center. They need a big man desperately because the small ball that's definitely not going to work without Westbrook and Harden there. Because I feel by the time the season starts, Westbrook and Harden both won't be there because we saw James Harden turn down $50 million a year. $50 million a year. You know what I would do to get that kind of money. So that's a lot of money to turn down, which means he really doesn't want to play for that franchise anymore. Neither does Russell Westbrook. But I think what the Nets could offer the Houston Rockets is a center in Jarrett Allen, and that's what they need. If they can get a Jarrett Allen on that team, along with Spencer Dinwiddie, maybe Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, that's a good package. That's a pretty decent package if you ask me, because you need a center. I don't see a center that Philadelphia can offer unless they trade Joel Embiid.
Yeah, okay, so you have great points there. Karis LeVert, Joe Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris. But right now, who's going to lead that team? We've seen Karis LeVert leading his team to a playoffs, but that's not enough. Right now, they'll probably, Karis, they'll probably ask for, because right now, I don't know why he could have played Tyson Chandler at the 5 in the playoffs because he's a great center. Well, not anymore. In his prime, he was great.
Yeah.
I thought they could have played him at center, but he didn't get the chance to play. I feel that Philadelphia will probably give Ben Simmons, and then Ben Simmons, he's a lethal scorer. He can, if he delivers, just develop his three-pointer, then he's a mini LeBron James.
LeBron 2.0.
He's a LeBron James 2.0.
Yeah.
And also, if they want a player to carry them, so I think that they could sign big man in free agency right now and trade for Ben Simmons, and maybe Ben Simmons could lead them to a playoff. But right now, their best bet is Philadelphia, and they don't care about where James Harden wants to go, but they want to rebuild. They're in the rebuilding stage.
Yeah, well, you can't really sign anybody right now because what the Rockets' main focus should be is getting Russell Westbrook and James Harden out of there, because I could tell you right now they want out of there as soon as possible. They want to make sure they're leaving. I bet Russell Westbrook and James Harden are packing their bags as we're talking right now. So they want out of there as soon as possible, and we both know that. So I think, yeah, but Philadelphia, they could offer them good guys, but I think the Rockets will be very interested if they offer Jarrett Allen, because we know what he can do on the defensive end. Obviously, he's a beast in the paint, yes, but then you're also adding those guys to an Eric Gordon probably led team. So Eric Gordon's probably going to lead that team now, because I don't see anyone else on that team who's going to lead it. So, and we saw Eric Gordon. He dropped 50 points. I think it was this season or last season. I can't really remember. But he dropped 50 points one game. So, and I know a lot of people say, "Oh, that's one game," but it's still 50 points. You've got 50 baskets, so that's a lot of points. So
Well,
Eric Gordon's a
same with
lethal
T.J.
player.
Warren, man. T.J. Warren, he dropped 50 points,
Yeah,
and I think that the best play for the Rockets is trade Russell Westbrook. The Rockets, oh no, the Clippers and New York were interested in for Russell Westbrook,
hmm
and if they can't, if Philadelphia is not giving up Joel Embiid for James Harden, then their safest way to get a center is trade Russell Westbrook for a center for either New York or the Clippers, Montreal Hero or Zubac,
right.
and then get Ben Simmons for the Philadelphia 76ers. I believe that's the best bet to be a playoff team is to trade, ask for Joel Embiid. If you're not getting Joel Embiid, then fine, take Ben Simmons, and then then trade for Russell Westbrook for a center like Zubac or Montreal Hero or Mitchell Robinson for New York, and then they could be that could be a good team, you know.
Yeah, it could be. And yeah, like you said, the Rockets are gonna go into a rebuilding stage. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. And
Because right now, like the Rockets, Russell Westbrook, his contract's about to be over. Like I believe this is his last season. Same with
I
James
believe so.
Harden. So would you rather get something right now or not get, or just let them go away and get nothing? You know,
Yeah, so I mean, yeah,
because this is the last season.
you can't continue the season with two guys who don't want to be there, and they're your two best players too. So, and
Exactly.
I think maybe there'll be more.
It's better to get something.
Yeah, maybe
It's better to
yeah,
get
you can go.
something right now than lose because we rather get some good young players right now for them than rather not get anyone at all after this season.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I think the Rockets will be more careful to where they send James Harden, especially because James Harden's been there for years. He's pretty much I thought he could be a franchise player for them. Still can be, but he wants out now. He's interested in getting traded to the Nets. So I think because they're so close with James Harden, I think they're gonna want what's best for James Harden, what's gonna make James Harden happy, and I think they're in serious talks with the Brooklyn Nets and trying to get James Harden where he wants to go. So I think that's what's gonna happen. I don't know what they're gonna do with Russell Westbrook. I'm not sure where
Well,
they're gonna trade him. So, but for James Harden, I could see him going to Brooklyn.
I'll tell you another thing. They want to do the best for James Harden because he's been there for long, right?
Yeah.
But we also know about Kawhi Leonard how he wanted to trade and he wanted to go to I think it was to a Western team. But
Right.
Greg Popovich is like, no, I don't want you to go to a Western Conference team because he doesn't want to see him again. Right? So he's like, I'm going to trade you into the East so you don't have to verse us. And, trading him to the Raptors was smart for him because he didn't want to verse Kawhi Leonard. Because Kawhi Leonard we all thought Kawhi didn't want to leave San Antonio. He won 2 rings. He was their franchise player when Manu and Tim Duncan getting retired.
Yeah.
After that injury he had, he wanted a trade and he went to Rockets, and now I feel like that the Rockets, they should do what's best for them, not for James Harden, because they don't want to lose out and they don't want to be the worst in the league no more. So I believe that they should trade him for Ben Simmons.
Yeah, well, like before we move on, because we do have some other stuff to get on. Too, I just want to make one final point. It's kind of a different situation because yeah, Greg Popovich didn't want him in the same conference as Kawhi when he wanted to trade, but the Rockets they're trading him to another conference, so I don't think it'll be much of a problem for the Rockets in this situation because it's an opposite conference. You never want to trade a player to the same conference you're in, so yeah, that it's kind of a different situation there, but yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. All right, so we're gonna get to some football now. So we had a a brutal injury last night to Drew Brees. So I'll let you start with this one. How worried should the Saints be?
Oh, this would be definitely worried. You know, the star quarterback Drew Brees just got injured, and it's not looking good for them because the quarterback that's their team player right there.
Right.
He tells you, oh, we're gonna play this player. We're gonna do this. Come on, let's get our focus here with our momentum because we saw Patrick Mahomes in Super Bowl when they were down to 49ers. He's like, let's step this up, guys. We need to win this. We're here. Let's not choke this. And he was the man of the team, and they won with him. He was playing clutch. Same with Drew Brees. He's a great quarterback. He was helping the Saints, but if you don't have a great quarterback, then you can't have a great team. Because you need a player that can pass good, pass fast, pass far away. And Drew Brees was one of them, but now he's injured. I feel like the Saints should be worried about him.
Yeah, they definitely should be worried, and I'm not sure if you heard what the injury was. He has 3 cracked ribs and a collapsed lung. Plus, he's 40 plus years old. So it after even if he might come back because they're hopeful that he can come back for the playoffs, it might be over for Drew Brees after the season. If
Yeah,
they're
that rib
if
torn and he's 40 plus years old.
Yeah,
That's not
because
looking good for him.
he has a wonderful family at home. He has a like, yes, he has a wonderful family at home. He has a family to get to, and it's probably gotten to the point now where Drew Brees is gonna want to come back because there's no questioning Drew Brees' mentality. We know he has a tough mentality, but it's all a matter can he actually go? Because I'm not questioning Drew Brees' mentality. We know he's gonna want to get back out on the field. He's gonna say he's okay, but is he really going to be okay? Because if there are serious considerations, if he's not back at time, even if he is back in time for the playoffs, it might be time to hang up the helmet because you got to consider your health. You have a whole future ahead of you, and you don't want to risk anything
Yeah.
serious because when you're a quarterback and you're getting sacked, you can't get hit in the head because that's a penalty. That's illegal. You're gonna get hit in the ribs a lot more if you get sacked, and you're
I
going to
never
get
seen, and
sacked.
you
So,
have 3 broken ribs. You're gonna be getting hit in the ribs again. That's gonna be more painful because you already have 3 broken ribs, and you have these giant, strong men who lift around like 200 pounds or more coming at you at full speed.
exactly, yeah.
That's dangerous. Like that good. You have a good point of to retire. I believe that if he comes back, then talk to his doctor first because football that's a dangerous sport. You
It
have
is,
grown
yeah.
men that weigh 200, 300 pounds who are coming full speed at you. If one of them connects you right at the ribs again, then maybe
It might be
that
over.
could finish your whole career.
Yeah, and he's 40 plus years old. So we thought he was gonna retire last season. Yeah, that's what we thought. He said he was gonna retire last season, but obviously he didn't. So, but this might be a sign that maybe it was time to hang it up. We know that Drew Brees, all he wants to do is go after another chip. He wants another ring like he won it in 2009, I think it was. So, but it might be too late now because that is a severe, severe injury. And people who play
Yeah.
football, I have a lot of friends that play football, and they tell me, as a quarterback, you're gonna get hit in the ribs a lot more if you're getting sacked, and you are going to
Yeah.
get sacked as a quarterback. You can't go through a game, you can't go through a season without getting sacked. Like your offensive line just has to be amazingly perfect for you not to get sacked. So
Yeah.
it's going to happen. And if he gets hit again and he doesn't get back up, that it might be over. And I think it's over after this season. And I hate to say it because I love watching Drew Brees play. He's a future Hall of Famer without a doubt. I say that with full confidence. But if the longer it takes for him to come back, the more likely it's time for him to hang up the helmet. So
Yeah.
the whole Saints team is in trouble right now, and I'm not questioning. Like I said, I'm not questioning his mentality, and the Saints, they gotta plan their future without Drew Brees right now. Starting from now, they
Yeah,
gotta
they need
plan
to
their
go
future
for
without Drew
maybe
Brees.
a rebuilding stage or trading someone,
Right.
trading some quarterback.
Yeah.
But
Because
you know, Drew Brees, he's 40 plus with a broken rib gauge. You know, that's bad. That's
crucial
super
injury.
bad because if a lineman is coming at you
Mm-hmm.
and he connects with all of his power,
Right.
then I'm sorry, that's a career-ending injury.
Yeah, and like I said, it's illegal to hit guys in the head. That's just a penalty. You shouldn't be hitting guys in the head in football because that's just illegal. So these guys are getting trained.
They don't want to go easy on him. They don't want to be like, oh, he's injured, we just go for it. But no. It's the big league. They want to go. They want to win that chip. So it's not going to be easy for Drew Brees. I think that if his doctor is saying not to play again, then he should actually consider that and just end his career with the Saints and just think about his future because 40-plus-year-old,
you still got a future ahead of you.
By young people who are way stronger.
Yeah.
That's not safe. That's not safe at all.
It's not safe at all. You got a whole future ahead of you. You're still 40 years old. You got so many years ahead of you. You can go on to be a coach even if you still want to be in the NFL. Go on to be a coach. You can do anything, but it might be time to hang it up right now because 3 cracked ribs, a collapsed lung, especially during COVID-19. Any kind of lung injuries is crucial right now during this pandemic. So it is a very, very crucial injury.
This pandemic is like if you get COVID, it just takes away you kind of able to breathe.
Yeah.
And you know, a lung problem like that cage is right the rib cage. Your lungs are underneath the rib cage. And you know that rib. If you have a lung problem and you get COVID, that's horrible news because you will have trouble breathing. I hope he doesn't get it. You know, I hope he doesn't.
For sure. Yeah.
Get COVID. I'm praying for his family. You know, get well back. But I think he should just retire and become a coach. You know, he'll be a great coach.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree with that. It might be time to, like I said, the longer it takes for him to come back, the more likely he'll have to hang up the helmet. Because
you know, if it takes like 1 or 2 years to come back from that injury, you know, he ain't getting younger. He's gonna get older, and then and it's gonna hurt more because your body is not getting stronger, it's getting weaker. So I think it's just time to hang up the helmet and carry on with the legacy. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer one day.
For sure.
And
yeah, like he's 40 plus years and he has a better arm than a lot of kids in high school. So that just shows how good he is. Definitely a Hall of Famer, like you said. But it might be time to hang up the helmet. And I hate to say it because I love watching Drew Brees play. So yeah, it might be time.
Yeah. Or you can just he can also make a camp for kids with who want to be quarterbacks in the future, but like you said, it's time to hang up the helmet. Yeah. You had a great you had a great career.
Yeah. I know he's gonna work hard through rehab to get back on the field, but it's all a matter. Like I said, it's all a matter. Can he actually go? Can he actually play?
Yeah.
Because we know Drew Brees. He's gonna say, "Oh yeah, I'm good. I can play." But can you actually play? Can your body really handle it? Can you handle over 200-pound guys coming at you full speed? So that's a tough hit. And yes, you have those barriers under your suit, but that doesn't really do anything if 200 plus pound guys are coming at you full speed with their full strength. You're gonna probably get another cracked rib. So now his ribs are and like some of these dirty NFL players, they're going to go after his rib. I could definitely see some of these dirty NFL players. I hope they don't. I hope they have some consideration. But it's the NFL. You're going to get hit. You're gonna get sacked. So it's just a game. So yeah. So onto a topic that I'm surprised you didn't really brag about when you got into the podcast. Because so did the Bears coach mess up the Bears situation?
Well, you can talk first because you said that the Bears were gonna win. but the Vikings actually won, so he sucked.
Um, yeah, I think I think the Bears messed up this situation. I think they should have stayed with Michael Trubisky. They shouldn't have got rid of him. Because Michael Trubisky, he ran better with the football. So I think you have a quarterback that can move better with the football. It'll leave more receivers open. He'll be able to make more passes, and he's a more athletic point. I was about to say point guard, quarterback. So the Bears we all know never had a good offensive line to begin with. We all knew that they never had a good offensive line to begin with. Nick Foles, he's a good quarterback, but Trubisky had better movement with the football. So that's just that's how I see it. I think they should have stayed with Michael Trubisky. I think because with Michael Trubisky, you were 3-0. You add Nick Foles, all of a sudden you're 2-5. So that's a problem. Obviously, you did something wrong there by trading Michael Trubisky. So Nick Foles, yeah, he won a Super Bowl with Philadelphia a few years ago, but that doesn't mean anything. He's getting older, and Michael Trubisky, every quarterback's getting older, but Michael Trubisky just had better wheels. Like I said, he ran better with the football. He was more athletic with the football. So yes, the Matt Nagy, the Bears coach, did mess up the Bears situation right now, and now the Bears are in a very tough situation. And like I said, you're all of a sudden 2-5 when you started off 3-0 with Michael Trubisky. So you know it's a tough situation. So the Bears are in trouble. With and especially when Nick Foles got injured last night too. I didn't even mention that. Nick Foles went down. So now you're in even more trouble. You're all of a sudden 5-5. So you're in so much more trouble. Nick Foles is down, and the Bears got to figure something out now.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, like you had great points. I think that they're in trouble. You know, they're probably won't be able to make the playoffs. What are they 5-5?
Yeah, they're 5 and they started off 3-0, and all of a sudden the last games
You
are
know,
2-5.
that five. You like people thought, wow, they have to have a chance. But like I said, there's a lot of time in the season. There's gonna be a team that's gonna choke, and the Bears just did it. We went 3-0 to now to losing 5 games, and it's gonna be horrible for them. We'll see what comes up. You have 6 more games. You can still come back from the playoffs, but it's gonna be a tough season for them right now.
Yeah, for sure. I know I picked the Bears to win last night, and all jokes aside, I hope Nick Foles does get better because I think he is a great quarterback. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, Matt Nagy should have stayed with Mitchell Trubisky. Sorry, I think I've been saying Michael the whole time. He should have stayed with Mitchell Trubisky because Mitchell Trubisky was
Like I said,
faster, he's more athletic.
whenever you lose a quarterback, it's gonna be the team is gonna go down so much.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Like your quarterback is your main guy. So
Your
and it,
quarterback's pretty much a team captain.
yeah, pretty much. Your quarterback is the one that's getting those plays in the headset in the inside of that helmet from the coach. So even Nick Foles
Telling
going
you what
down.
to run, what to do. Let's give you momentum. Telling you, all right, guys, we need to win this. We're down by 6. We can still get the touchdown. Let's do this.
Right, they're the motivation to the team. Nick Foles is a great quarterback, maybe Hall of Famer in the future. That's debatable. But you know Mitchell Trubisky, I think they should have stayed with him. I don't know why they traded him in the first place. You were 3-0 with Mitchell Trubisky, and all of a sudden you trade him, and now you're 5-5. So, and you lost to the Vikings last night, who I think are now what? I think there's 3-5 now. So that's a tough situation for the Bears because Nick Foles is down now. Now you got to go with the backup quarterback, and you've traded Mitchell Trubisky. So I think Mitchell Trubisky would have done a better job executing last night against the Vikings. So that's just how I feel. I feel they shouldn't have gotten with Nick Foles, even though he's a good quarterback. He won a championship obviously with Philadelphia, but Mitchell Trubisky was just a better quarterback. I feel.
Yep.
Yeah. So Bears, they're in a tough situation right now. But back to basketball. Would the Brooklyn Nets need to win a title this year if they added James Harden?
Oh, definitely. If they don't win the champion, if they don't win the title with James Harden, then you could just say that you cannot have three players that want to score all the time on the same team. It's not going to work out. Or three ball handling or playmaking players on the same team. Because they all are playmakers. You know, James Harden, he won MVP. Kevin Durant won MVP. You know, Kevin Durant had Harden was averaging 30 points in his MVP season. Um, Kyrie, you know what he do 50 points in his first game as a Nets. Kevin Durant, he's a leading scorer. If you cannot win with those three players, then now it's a fact. Now it's a known fact that you can't win a championship with playmakers, with three playmaking scorers. So you saw Russell Westbrook and James Harden. They're both playmakers. They all want the ball at the same time. But like I said, you also have things. Now, if you can't win with three All Stars and superstars, then now it's a known fact that you cannot win with three playmakers, scorers, or players that want the ball in their hands all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um. They do need to win this year if they add James Harden because, like you said, you brought up great points. They're adding three amazing scorers. You know, James Harden averaged, excuse me, he averaged 33 straight years. Kevin Durant, who's an amazing scorer, even if he's at 80%, we're not sure if he's going to be at 100% or 70, 80%. But even Kevin Durant, 80%, he's a great scorer. Then Kyrie Irving, we know he could finish around the basket. He's one of, if not the best in the game at doing it. He can handle the ball really well. We know he's one of the best at that. So also, you are playing in the media capital of the world in New York, and obviously there's the Knicks, but anyone that has a tiny bit of basketball knowledge, they know not to mention the Knicks and championship in the same sentence. So there is immense pressure on the Nets to win it this year because like I said, they're playing in a media capital. Nobody's going to be interested in any of your excuses if you don't win the championship with that big three. Nobody. I don't care
And
what you come up with.
Also, you're in the East. There's only one. There's a couple. I think there's only two teams that are contenders with you, and that's the Bucks and the Miami Heat. If you cannot reach the finals and you lose to one of them or to a horrible team, then now it's a known fact that you cannot win with three elite scorers. You probably might have to go to old school basketball, and that's a center and a point guard and a great small forward, just like how the Warriors did. The Warriors, they all knew that they're all great scorers, but what they did is by their coach. You need a great head coach to win, because we all got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green. They all want the ball at the same time. They're not gonna win anything. But it comes from the head coach, Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr's like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make this play for Kevin Durant. Then after that, we're gonna get an off screen by Klay Thompson for Klay Thompson, and we're gonna get neutral scores. But if they don't even reach the finals, then that's a disappointment.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. I'm so glad you brought up Golden State because I was just about to bring them up too. Because you want Kevin Durant when he was with Golden State, he had the best shooting backcourt known to man. I don't care what backcourt you come up with. They are the best shooting backcourt ever. And you won two in a row, which I think could have been three in a row, if Kevin Durant got injured, and I think everybody knows that. So, yeah, there's immense pressure because you won two in a row with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. You're getting James Harden and Kyrie Irving. You have to win the championship. I'm not just talking about getting to the finals because I think they're going to get to the finals right now even without James Harden. But if you add James Harden, you have to win the championship. And if James Harden goes to the Brooklyn Nets, even though I'm a Lakers fan, I'm going to take the Brooklyn Nets to win the championship next year because I don't see LeBron and Anthony Davis beating that team. And if they don't win the NBA championship with that big three, people are going to be asking a lot of questions. Nobody's going to be interested in any excuses, Yeah.
The Lakers are their best competitions, and James Harden goes to the team in Brooklyn.
Right.
The Lakers, if they right now, they're gonna follow what the Nets are doing because right now the Nets, they are going to they're going to try to get whatever they want for James Harden. And if they get James Harden, the Lakers will be like, all right, we need to get a great point guard. We need to get another great scorer. Maybe like, hey, let's trade for Russell Westbrook or trade for some solid guys. Because right now that's a great trio in Brooklyn. And LeBron and AD, they can't do it by themselves because the Lakers traded so many great pieces for AD. And they won one championship, but right now it's going to be difficult for them. They're like, all right, we should trade. Maybe their best bet for another great point guard is Russell Westbrook. Because AD, he can shoot the three. He can space out for Westbrook. Westbrook driving, he's a great finisher. We're seeing how he's probably the most athletic point guard ever in the NBA as a point
without it, not probably, he is the most athletic point guard in NBA history.
Yeah. So I look at alright, let's trade Westbrook. They're gonna Westbrook, LeBron, AD versus Kevin Durant, Harden, and Kyrie in the finals. That would be an insane matchup.
Yeah, it would be, and I think even then, the Brooklyn Nets should win the championship because I like that team because these guys they know how to put on a show for the fans even when there's no fans in the stadium. So these guys are an amazing trio, and like I said, you're playing in the media capital of the world in New York City. I don't care about the Knicks because, like I said just now, you shouldn't be mentioning the New York Knicks and championship in the same sentence. Anyone who has a little bit of basketball knowledge knows that. So, all eyes are gonna be on you. Nobody's interested in any of your excuses. I don't care. So, if you had James Harden, you gotta win the championship this year. I don't care if you're gonna. I don't care about next year. You gotta win it this year.
And tomorrow, we should probably start the broadcast late tomorrow because tomorrow is the draft, the NBA draft.
Right. I think we get. I think it starts at 7, right?
7. We can start maybe around like 6:30, and then
No, we'll still start at 4. We have some discussions to talk about too.
Maybe 4. 5 is good, and then watch the NBA draft and see and talk about what team went for what.
Right.
Yeah. It's obvious number 1 pick is Anthony Edwards, but I heard some rumors, some good sources that they might go for LaMelo Ball, and that'll be shocking.
Yeah, it would be.
Great point guard. Why do you need LaMelo Ball? I want to see it's gonna be any shocking picks. Will LaMelo Ball go first pick? Will Warriors? Because I feel like there's gonna be a lot of trades tonight or tomorrow because of the draft. I also saw this. It's about a trade that the Minnesota Timberwolves could do. Trade for Ben Simmons. Give up the number 1 pick overall. And some other players. And do you think that would be a good pickup for the Minnesota Timberwolves?
On LaMelo Ball?
No. So I saw on ESPN or something that good trade value is Ben Simmons going to Minnesota Timberwolves, and Philadelphia gets the first pick in the NBA draft and some other players.
You, you're kind of cutting out.
Huh?
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said?
I heard something. I heard Ben Simmons going to the Timberwolves or something. That's all I
So
heard.
I saw this on a source that the Timberwolves will give up the first pick and a couple of players for Ben Simmons. Do you think that's a good pickup for Minnesota?
I think so. It'll be a good pickup. We're gonna discuss more about the draft tomorrow because obviously tomorrow is draft day. But yeah, I think that would be a good pickup for the Timberwolves because it depends who they trade. Actually, if they manage not to trade D'Angelo Russell, then yeah, it's a good trade. Pairing him up with D'Angelo Russell and Ben Simmons. So that'll be a good duo. That would be an interesting duo because Ben Simmons. I think if he could get a jump shot, like I've said multiple times, if he could get a jump shot, then he's LeBron James 2.0 without a doubt.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be a good pickup. But we're gonna talk more about the draft tomorrow because tomorrow's draft day, and we'll talk about who we think is gonna go number one. Even though I think we've you know uh, shared our opinions on that already throughout the week. So we're gonna talk a lot about the draft tomorrow. So we're getting back to football here. The Eagles took a big loss on Sunday to the New York Giants, who are not that good of a team. We know that. So who is more to blame, the Eagles coach Doug Peterson or Carson Wentz? You want me to go first with this one?
Start this one since I started the last one.
All right.
I started the last one, so
I think a lot of it is to blame on Doug Peterson. Obviously part of it is on Carson Wentz. I mentioned this yesterday. Carson Wentz, he's completing 58% of his passes. He's been sacked 35 times throughout this season so far. That is a lot of times to get hit. I'm surprised he's not the one who cracked the ribs, even though I don't wish that on anybody. This weekend, he got hit 13 times. Throughout the season, he's thrown 3 interceptions with only 12 touchdowns. I say blame Doug Peterson because, you're not running the football enough. Your pass protection is terrible. You're ranked 26th in rushing. You're ranked 27th in passing yards. I have the stats up here. You're ranked 27th in passing yards, and other than your front four is 7, there seems to be a problem. So I think I think a lot of the blame is on Doug Peterson because why are you running the football 18 to 19 times if you're worried about your quarterback? Run the ball 30 to 35 times.
what's the question? Sorry, what was the question?
Who's to blame, Doug Peterson or Carson Wentz?
Alright.
Yeah. So that's all I really have. I'll continue off of you after, but I think to blame is Doug Peterson.
The quarterback.
The quarterback?
Sorry. I think the head coach.
The head coach. Okay.
Because how do you not know that your player got sacked 13 times that game? Cage up the linemen, tell them to change it up, and you're the coach, so you should be telling the quarterback, alright, let's run this play, we're gonna be running, we're not passing, because you're passing 58%, let's go run the ball, and you should be talking to the lineman and be like, hey, come on, man, we need you to protect the quarterback. And he wasn't telling the lineman what to do. And I think it's the head coach's fault.
Yeah, definitely the head coach's fault because, like I said, why are you running the football 18 to 19 times when you're worried about your quarterback getting hurt? Then run the football 30 35 times.
Exactly.
Your quarterback.
If you're worried about your player getting hurt, then run the football. Why are you still throwing the ball if you don't want your player to get hurt?
That's
it's common sense. Run the football. You're going to have probably better chances. And if you're going to throw the football, tell your lineman to play great defense. You don't want your quarterback to stumble back 50 yards.
Right. Yeah. So that's a very very good point because like I said, throughout the season so far, we're almost halfway through the season. Throughout the season so far, you've gotten hit 35 times. Your quarterback has gotten hit 35 times. He got hit 13 times on Sunday. 13 times he got hit. So that is a lot to get hit, and you're still not running the football. That is a big question mark on Doug Peterson. And if Doug Peterson, I was getting there too. If this continues with Doug Peterson, I think Doug Peterson might be fired by the end of this season. I don't think, especially if they don't make the playoffs.
He's been sacked 35 times. One game, he's been sacked 13. Why not changing up the game? Why not changing up the lineman, the strategy? Why not changing the game? You know, I don't think it's the quarterback's fault, the player's fault. I think it's the head coach. And they should, if they want a chance at the title, they should fire him and get a new one.
Yeah, I completely agree because especially if they don't make the playoffs.
6 or 7, I think it's 18 total, right?
No, it's they play 16 games in total.
Oh, so 16 games, right? You have 6 games left. You know, if you want to start and win the Super Bowl, you need to change it up right now. If you don't change it up, then you're gonna lose your job as a head coach.
Right, especially if they don't make the playoffs. If they do not make the playoffs, there is big questions on Doug Peterson because there has to be somebody telling him. Somebody has to tell Doug Peterson, why are you not? And you have the nerve to go on a radio show and claim that you're ticked off. I'm not going to use the words because but you claim that you're ticked off that how your team played. Yet the blame is on you. The blame is on you. You didn't do a good job. And I'm sorry to say, Doug Peterson's a great coach, without a doubt. I'll give it to that. Give it to him for that. He's a great coach. But right now, he's not doing his. I don't think he's doing his job well.
I would be surprised if he doesn't get fired next season.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if the Eagles, because they still could win the NFC East. The NFC East is the worst division in football history. So they're going to make the playoffs, but maybe they might make the playoffs. We don't know, right? So even if they make the playoffs, Doug Peterson still could be fired, especially if how bad they lose in the playoffs. We don't know who they're going to verse in the playoffs yet, but depending on how bad they lose in the playoffs, it's going to be very interesting, and I think Doug Peterson might not have a job by the end of the season.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. The Eagles are in deep trouble. Carson Wentz is part to blame. He's only completing 58% of his passes, which is not something to brag about at all. That's not something to brag about.
You also have defense fault because the defense, they're not. Those linemen, hey, come on, play some better defense. Don't let them come after me. It's not his fault. 58%. That's not good, but it's not bad. But you also have the defense not doing their job, getting sacked 13 times. Come on, defense. You should get him to at least.
Yeah, that offensive line is terrible.
Pass the ball.
Yeah, that pass protection is terrible. They're ranked 26th. They're ranked 27th, I believe. So it's terrible. Their offensive line is terrible right now, and I don't see them going anywhere right now because it's just that terrible right now for the Eagles. Carson Wentz is part to blame, but again, you mentioned defense. Who runs the defense? Doug Peterson runs the defense. So that's a big part on him. He needs to step it up. He needs to get his team together. He needs to tell them, all right, guys, I've had enough of this. I'm ticked off. I'm not going to go on a radio show and tell you guys that I'm ticked off. I'm going to confront you guys that I'm ticked off, and I want us to step up our game for the rest of the season because we got a few games left. I want you guys to step it up and show why, because I believe in Carson Wentz. I believe Carson Wentz will get better by next season. I think he'll be better next season. But right now he's struggling. Right now the whole team is struggling. Especially Deshaun Jackson can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy to save his life right now. So injuries are also a problem for the Philadelphia Eagles. But the Giants, I think the Eagles should have won that game. They should have beat the Giants because the Giants are a terrible team. Even you lost to them without Saquon Barkley. So that's very tough on the Eagles, and that's a tough loss to take against the New York Giants, who have a terrible defense, especially, and not that good of offense. They just looked so good against the Eagles. That's how bad the Eagles played on Sunday. So, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think you pretty much covered it up. Even though the Vikings won.
Right. For those of you guys who weren't here yesterday, I said the Bears were going to beat the Vikings, and, they didn't. But
And I said the Vikings were going to win. They're not my team. They're not my team.
yeah, the Bears are not my team either. So
I should have made a bet.
maybe. But so we're gonna get to a lot of people get heated when they talk about this team now. For some reason, a lot of people get angry when I talk to them about this team. But we're gonna go into the Patriots. So Monday, will the Patriots finish above or below 500?
What are they right now? I think they're what?
I believe their record is 4-5 right now. So
Oh.
what record do you think they'll finish at?
It's 9 games. We have what? 7 games left. I feel like they're gonna win 5 out of those 7 games. So I feel like they're gonna go 9-7. 9-7.
Okay.
So I feel like that the Patriots will go over 500. Even though at the start of the season.
Oh, hold on. Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to read you their schedule. Because I have their schedule here. So the next few games they'll play, then you can answer it. Next few games they play the Texans, the Chargers, the Rams, the Dolphins, the Bills, the Jets, and the Cardinals. Those are the next games that they play.
Well, I believe they can actually still win because those are tough teams. Those are Super Bowl contenders team. But I believe that
Except the Jets.
Huh?
Except the Jets. The Jets. They're.
Yeah, 0-9. Yeah, whatever. That's definitely a dub. But I feel like that at the start of the season they're 0-3, right? You got a new quarterback, and your franchise quarterback just left you. It's a new thing to know about. But I feel like that they'll go 9-7 and make it to the playoffs because Cam Newton, he's getting back to where he was, and the Patriots, they just won back-to-back. They won against Ravens. That's an impressive dub to beat the Ravens.
Yeah, that was a W they needed.
And I believe that if they can beat the Ravens, they can beat most of these teams. I feel like they'll go 9-7 and go to the playoffs.
I think they're gonna go 8-8. I think that's what they're gonna finish the season. I think they finish 8-8 because looking at their schedule, the Texans they win that game. The Chargers, I think they win that game. I said they're 4-5. So the Texans they win that game. The Chargers, I think they beat the Jets obviously, and I think they could possibly beat the Dolphins. And I think they'll lose to the Bills, Cardinals, and Rams because that Rams defense is something else. They're ranked second in defending, so that defense is something else. And I don't think they're gonna beat the Rams, so I think they're gonna finish 8-8. So Cam Newton, great quarterback, but he's not looking great right now. So 8-8, I think that's the record they finish at because it's going to be very tough to see them beating some of those teams, especially the way the Cardinals are looking right now with Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. That we already know what he can do, and then those offensive guys that Kyler Murray has, those weapons he has. I think Kyler Murray's a future MVP in a few years. So I don't really see him competing with the young quarterback in Kyler Murray right now. I think Cam Newton's time is almost done in the NFL. I think he has a few more years left and he's done. But Dolphins they might so Jets they'll beat those guys. The Bills are going to be a tough matchup. I don't know if they'll beat them because Josh Allen's we've seen a lot from him this season, even though that Kyler Murray game-winning touchdown that he threw to DeAndre Hopkins over the Bills, But against the Patriots, I think the Bills would win that matchup. So I say 8-8 just because their schedule, the rest of their games are pretty even. So that's I say 8-8 just because of their schedule.
It's gonna be a season for them. I think they're gonna come up on top with 9-7 and show that the world that they're still the quarterback is hard because that Tom Brady, he was like I said again, and I'm gonna say it again, he was all thought that he was going to finish his career with the Patriots, but he surprised us by going to the Buccaneers.
Yeah, that's true.
And then now I feel like that. Getting a new quarterback, Cam Newton, he just left his team, the Carolina Panthers, to go to the Patriots. I feel like that it's a new thing to see. Because because going to a new team is difficult. Like, it's super, super difficult.
Yeah.
And, we don't know. It may work out, it may not work out. Because going to a new team, you gotta learn a new play style, you gotta have chemistry. And we went 0-3 at the first stop. We all thought, oh, they suck. Now they're not going to play. They're not going to win. But if they win and they come 5-5, they're going to go 9-7 or 10-6.
10-6. Wow.
I got them going 10-6 or 9-7.
10-6 and 9. Okay, that's very interesting. 10-6. I don't see them doing that good. So, but I see them going 8-8, and that's.
If they do good, I'm gonna rub it in your face.
I bet you will. But yeah. Computer
I'm
almost
going
fell.
to rub it in your face.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. But
I'm not a Patriot fan. That's a funny thing.
Yeah, neither am I. Obviously, I'm a Steelers guy. Mondeep's a Chiefs guy. So, but yeah, 8-8. I see that record. That's all I see them going. So I don't see them finishing above or below 500. They're right there, 8-8. So yeah, that's what I see right now. Because the Patriots, they're not looking good, and it's tough to even see them making the playoffs right now. Though just the way they're playing, I know they beat the Ravens in those tough conditions, but it's very tough because the Patriots are not looking good at all right now. So, you have anything else to add?
No, that's it.
That's it. Yeah. So, now my weekly tradition every time a week after NFL finishes. My top 5 NFL teams after week 10. Now, I asked on my story, am I going to finally give my Steelers the number 1 spot? It was a 50-50. So, not a lot. Some people don't believe that I'm going to give my Steelers credit. We're going to find out. So, number 5 on my list is the Tampa Bay Bucks. Why? Because Tom Brady, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, that offensive line is just too good. And they proved themselves after losing to the Saints terribly. They proved themselves this past week. And they played amazing. They played amazing against the Panthers, blowing them out. So the Tampa Bay Bucks are really looking good. I have them at the 5th spot only just because, they still have some stuff to work on. Antonio Brown needs to get back into that, playbook. He needs to, bury his head in that playbook, as some coaches would say. So I think, Tampa Bay number 5. Oh, yeah.
And that's a deadly trio.
Yeah. And did you see when Rob Gronkowski...
Give it some time.
Yeah.
Just give it some time, and in a couple, maybe 1 or 2 games, they're gonna be back to what they were before.
Oh yeah, and did you see when?
Will Tom Brady get his 7th ring? We don't know. It's
yeah, I think they're gonna make the Super Bowl. I still have Tampa Bay making the Super Bowl, but like I was gonna say, I think they're gonna make the Super Bowl. But did you see the way Rob Gronkowski caught that ball and brushed that Panthers defender right off of him. Oh my goodness, they couldn't hold that offense. They couldn't hold that Tampa Bay offense.
Well, let's see what happens. It's gonna be it's a great season right now. It's a great season so far.
Yeah. Number 4, the Los Angeles Rams, not the other LA team, the Los Angeles Rams. Why? Because they're ranked second in defense. Not a lot of people can go up against that defense, and we saw their defense come into play against the Seahawks.
Their defense is going to be the problem in if they make the Super Bowl. The team that's going to verse them,
they're up for a challenge. Any team that goes up against the Los Angeles Rams right now are up for a challenge when they are on the defensive end. So yes, I got the Los Angeles Rams at 4. Obviously, their offense could use a little bit work, but when it comes to the defense, there is no hesitating getting onto that field because they're second in defense and they can lock up almost anybody. Did you see the trouble that they gave DK Metcalf? They gave DK Metcalf a hard time. They gave Russell Wilson a hard time. Russell Wilson was somebody I said who's a top 3 MVP candidate, and they gave him a tough time. So I had to put the LA Rams at number 4 just because of their defense. That is amazing. So number 3, the New Orleans Saints. Why? Because, Drew Brees went down with that crucial injury. Obviously, nobody can predict a crucial injury like that. But when Drew Brees is there, they are a lethal offense. You know how far Drew Brees can throw that football, how accurate he can throw that football. So, Drew Brees, future Hall of Famer. We've said it a lot of times during this podcast. Future Hall of Famer for sure. He's a great quarterback. That offense, that defense, could use a little bit of work, but the defense is still good. So I think they're a good playoff team. Maybe not a Super Bowl team, but they're a great offensive team. And Drew Brees, they showed they still won, I believe. So yeah, New Orleans Saints at number 3. Number 2, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Can I say number 2?
Huh?
Can I say it?
It's my list, but yeah,
let
you
me
can.
say number 1. Let me say number 1 then.
Oh, okay. Number 2, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why? Because the Steelers, they're 9-0. They're undefeated. They're the only undefeated team left in the NFL. So, yeah, Big Ben Roethlisberger is an amazing point guard. Did you see? He looked like he was in his prime on Sunday. He just looked amazing with that offense. And, we know about the Steelers defense. We already know what the Steelers defense does because I can't put them at number 1 and tell me why, Mandeep. Why can't I put the Okay, sure. I can't put Pittsburgh at number 1 because Patrick Mahomes is at number 1. The Kansas City Chiefs are at number 1. Why? Because Patrick Mahomes, I think he's leading the league in MVP race right now. We saw what he did. The Super Bowl MVP, the Super Bowl champs. He has Tyreek Hill, those boys. So the Kansas City Chiefs are the best team in football still. They've been on my number 1 spot through the 10 weeks I've done this list.
And I'm telling you, if Tyreek Hill gets his speed, no one's catching him. And I'm telling you, no one.
Yeah, and I know I don't sound like a Steelers fan because I put them I think at number 4 last week and I put them at number 2. I put them at number 2. You can't come at me for that. But I can't put them at number 1. I just can't because the Kansas City Chiefs, they're too good. Even though they have 1 loss, the Steelers have none. That doesn't matter because against the Ravens they gave up. I can't mention they gave up. I think it was 160 rushing yards, and then against the Cowboys, who don't even have a quarter of a team and absolutely stink, they gave up about 150 rushing yards to the Cowboys. Yeah. So that's why I had them at number 4 last week. I had them at number 2. Big Ben Roethlisberger looked amazing on Sunday, like he was in his prime. He didn't look like an old quarterback on Sunday. He looked like he was in his prime on Sunday. But the Kansas City Chiefs are just too good right now, and they are the best team in football.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna wrap it up for today.
Wrap it. I think we got a couple. I think we got a couple more. Yeah, we're actually gonna go back to the top of the podcast. How so? We answered this already, but we're gonna go back to it real quick. So Monday, how worried should the Saints be right now with Drew Brees out?
Like I said before, they should be worried a lot because that's a quarterback, and he's leading you to the Super Bowl, or you know. But now ever since he's injured with that rib cage, rib broken, that's gonna be dangerous because you need um you need a good quarterback if you want to win, and if you don't have a good quarterback, you don't have a proper team, and also that the sorry
Yeah.
the hello.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, you need a good quarterback to win something, and the doctors, Drew Brees, he's a great quarterback. He has a great uh, he has a great mentality, but he's gonna be like, I'm gonna come back. I'm good. That doesn't mean anything. But you gotta listen, man. You're 40 plus years old. You have a broken rib cage. You have a lung problem, and football. It's COVID season time. Football is not the best thing to play if you have a lung problem because you're
Especially if you're a quarterback.
Because you're touching all your people's germs are gonna be going in your germ hands, and I just feel like that's gonna be bad. Even though you have a lung problem, COVID, one of the symptoms is having trouble to breathe, and I feel like that could be a problem for him, and I feel that what Drew Brees can do is sit out and see if he can play next season. If not, then don't play at all. Don't risk your life playing for the team. You already have one chip. You have a ring. That's good. But don't go looking for another one. You're gonna get injured. These are not young boys. These are not high schoolers. These are grown ass men that are strong. You're 40 plus. You think your body can handle it? But in reality, when a big man, these defensive, offensive linemen, if one of them come and connects you into the ribs, and they're 300 plus pound or 200 plus and all muscle, then I'm sorry, man, that's
game over.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I'm just hoping that he can actually talk to his family about it, and his family members can tell him, Dad, sit it out. Just hang up your helmet. You played well. You had an amazing career. But this injury, it's going to take you too far.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the Saints should be very worried, because like you said, he has a collapsed lung and 3 cracked ribs, and that's a very severe injury. So I think if he comes back, he retires at the end of the season because that's like I said, it's a very severe injury. And even if he comes back in time for the playoffs, I don't see them going far in the playoffs. And I think he hangs the helmet up at the end of the season because he's got a family at home. I think his family, his wife is gonna be like, Drew, you've gotten hit too many times. You're 40 plus years old, and I don't think you can get hit anymore. I'm not, like I said earlier in the podcast, I'm not questioning Drew Brees' mentality. I know he's going to work hard through rehab to get back on the field, but can you actually go? Can you actually play? So that's the only question. So I think he's done. I think he has to retire at this point, even if he does come back. So, and I said it earlier too, the Saints need to plan ahead.
He had a great season.
Yeah.
The Saints are planning to be rebuilding season time,
Right. Yeah, the Saints, they need to plan ahead without Drew Brees in their books.
You are a great team.
Right.
You need to consider that Andrew Brees could not come back to NFL and think about replacing him and just getting another player, and that can help you because your team's already good. But without Andrew Brees, your team has gone down, and just try to go for a team that can help you Just try to go. You want to plan to the future. You don't want to look at the past. So I
Right.
feel like that you should just start and thinking about planning the future.
Yeah, the Saints, they need to plan ahead without Drew Brees because, Drew Brees is a Hall of Fame quarterback without a doubt. I don't see how anyone could argue that. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame after he retires, and I think it'll
Yeah.
I think it'll be at the end of the season that he retires, you know. And even if he were to come back and the Saints were to plan ahead without Drew Brees, I think Drew Brees, he's such a great quarterback that he can adjust back to the Saints if he were to come back. So, I think that's just how great of a quarterback he is. So, yeah, that's how I feel about
Yeah.
Drew Brees right now. I think it's time for him to hang up the helmet at the end of the season. So, one last question. I'm gonna go to you for this first. How good will CP3 make the Suns in the West?
Sorry, what was the question?
How good will CP3 make the Suns in the West?
And this is our last question.
Yeah,
If you want to start it off, you can start it off. If
I'll
you want
start
to.
off. Okay. They're gonna make the playoffs for sure, without a doubt. I said it earlier in the podcast. They're gonna make the playoffs. But Devin Booker, he's a superstar. I just got questions about their youth and their depth of that team because like I said earlier in the podcast, I don't see them competing with the top teams because ahead of them I'd put the Lakers, the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Mavs, and the Warriors. So those are teams so I'd have them at the sixth spot maybe, and they can compete with a team like Portland. But right now, I got questions about their youth and their depth. Devin Booker, rising superstar. We already know about CP3. He's a great floor general. He can facilitate the floor well, and they're going to make the playoffs, maybe the fourth or fifth seed, but maybe even the sixth, maybe a lower seed. But I think he'll make them pretty good. I think it'll be a good experience with Devin Booker to play with CP3. But I don't see them going any further than the second round.
Yeah, you have great points about his contract. Chris Paul, his contract with the Rockets was super big, and um, that was a big contract to sign because you know you had Chris Paul. He was in his prime that year, but now he's not. And that contract, Devin Booker, he's gonna ask for more money because he's been playing well. He's a superstar, all star,
Right.
and they're gonna be asking for more money. And the Suns will go to the playoffs for a fact. I
For
know that
sure.
for a fact.
Yeah, for sure.
And they could make it to the second round, depends what team they're versing. Maybe they can shock the world. Maybe they can go to the top three seed. You never know.
Mm,
Because we all thought the Oklahoma City Thunder, when they got Chris Paul, that they were done for. He had a 0.3%. They had a 0.3% making the playoffs, but he said no. I'm gonna make it to the fifth seed. That's what he did. Took the Rockets to seven. Maybe that end of that play in Game 7, maybe that was a bad call.
right.
But I feel like that it's gonna be a great season for him and for the Suns fan. They've been waiting for so long to make it to another playoff appearance, and this is their year to make it. And uh, I think that their depth, you know, they should worry about that, but not now. There's no team wants to trade for Chris Paul because he's getting older, and trade for Chris Paul, his contract is so big. So it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be difficult for the death vote. It's gonna be a fun season for Suns fans.
Yeah, it'll. I bet Suns fans are happy right now. Yeah, I see them making at least the maximum the second round right now. But other than that, I don't see them going any further because obviously there's bigger competition. If they face a team like Portland in the first round, maybe they'll make the second round. But I think even a team like the Mavericks would beat them right now. But yeah, that's our final question of the day. We had a good podcast today. Hope you got some people joined a little bit late, but yeah, we talked a lot of football and basketball today, like I said. So We're gonna be back here tomorrow. We have the NBA draft here tomorrow. We're gonna be getting into that a lot tomorrow. So yeah, same time, 4 p.m. Eastern. We're here,
Yeah.
and yeah, just be here at 4 p.m. Eastern, and we'll see you guys tomorrow on the
Yeah,
next one.
man. Have a good night.
Yeah.